In 1955, a junior United States Senator named John Kennedy published profiles in Courage, a collection of short essays about 8 of his predecessors who had risked their careers for their ideals over the previous 150 years. But in one single day of 2021, that many senators showed courage worth enduring historical honor. 7 of them were Republicans: Richard Burr, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, and Pat Toomey. The other was Joe Manchin, a Democrat from a state where nearly 69% of the voters chose Donald Trump for squatter in 2020. Thanks to their integrity, a clear majority of the Senate voted to condemn the former squatter as an insurrectionist against the United States. The 57 to 43 margin wasn't enough to convict under the Constitution, but it wasn't enough to formally disqualify Trump from ever seeking office in the United States again, but practically it would do as a solemn and eternal public repudiation of Trump's betrayal of his oath of office. You say that you are disappointed, but that a mere rebuke was not enough, and that justice wasn't done. It wasn't. But now see the world from the other side, through the eyes of those who defend Trump or even want him to run again. Their hope was to dismiss his impeachment as partisan, and was founded, and they also tried to describe it as being founded on a fake evidence, which it wasn't, as hypocritical and anti-constitutional, and to present this verdict as an act of oppression by one half of the country against the other. That hope was banished today, or a couple of days ago, as I would put it. It's not half against half. It's a clear American majority, including a sizable part of the Republican Senate caucus against a minority, and even many of the senators who voted to acquit went on record to condemn Trump as an outlaw and a seditionist. Again and again, the Trumpists lost key votes. 5 Republican senators and then 6 rejected the argument that the Senate lacked jurisdiction. 5 Republican senators rejected the vote against witnesses, and the accusing majority consistently stuck together, but the condoning minority repeatedly splintered. The 57 votes against Trump silenced any complaint that he was condemned on some partisan basis or by some procedural unfairness. It crushes his truculent lawyers and claim that the argument against Trump was a mere chicanery. The senators who voted to acquit are the ones likely to justify the decision on some strange, narrow technical ground. The number who truly believe Trump innocent of the charges brought against him is surely smaller than the 43 who voted to acquit. Statements by senators such as Moscow Mitch and Rob Portman show that their votes did not match their thoughts. Trump's likely reaction to the trial will make things even more difficult for him even if he ever tries to run for squatter again. He will now erupt in a vendetta against the senators who voted to convict him, stoking primary challenges against them, as he had previously threatened to do, even against senators who ultimately protected him, such as John Thune of South Dakota. The 2022 Senate map is a challenger one for Republicans, and Trump will be acting the part of a party wrecker. The background fact of this second Trump impeachment trial was how broadly popular it was. In January, a Monmouth survey found that 56% of Americans wanted Trump convicted. A Quinnipiac poll reported that 59% regarded him as responsible for inciting the violence against the U.S. government, and according to an ABC Washington Post poll, 66% believed that Trump acted irresponsibly during the post-election period. And according to polls, fewer than a quarter believe that Trump did nothing wrong on January 6th. That's because those people are fucking retarded. But those are not the numbers on which to base a Grover Cleveland-style comeback tour, especially not when the majority of Americans also believe that Donald Trump did a bad job handling the COVID-19 pandemic, and that Joe Biden is doing a better job at that. Things will get worse for the 45th squatter. The 57 to 43 margin in the Senate flashes a green light to federal and state prosecutors that if they find evidence of crimes, proceeding with legal action against Trump will be politically safe. But Trump also faces the prospect of civil actions by the families of those who lost their lives in the insurrection that he incited. If and when they sue, their attorneys will surely cite that Senator Moscow Mitch said immediately after the trial vote, the Senate minority leader had condemned Trump's actions as a disgrace and a disgraceful dereliction of duty, and said he held Trump practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. The people who stormed this building had believed that they were acting on the wishes and instruction of their squatter, and their having that belief, having that belief was a foreseeable consequence of the growing crescendo of false statements, conspiracy theories, and reckless hyperbole, which the defeated squatter kept shouting into the largest megaphone on planet Earth. The issue is not only the squatters' and temperament language on January 6th, it was also the entire manufactured atmosphere of looming catastrophe. The increasingly wild myths about a reverse landslide election that was somehow being stolen by some secret coup by the now president, which means he was talking about Joe Biden. His own damning assessment did not suffice to persuade Moscow Mitch or to convict Trump of impeachable offenses. That abdication will weigh on McConnell's conscience and historical reputation. McConnell's words on the record may well suffice in future civil proceedings to impose responsibility on Trump for the harm he did. If your loved ones were injured or killed on January 6th, the leader of Trump's party in the Senate just volunteered his testimony about who might be held liable for your loss. Even more significantly, Moscow Mitch reminded senators that regular criminal law could deal with common criminals, as the Republican leader suggested Trump to be. Maybe McConnell was just omitting words-only maneuvering, but if federal and state law enforcement officials are pursuing Trump, today's events will encourage them and not deter them. But if you look to the U.S. Senate for a full measure of accountability, you did not receive it, of course. Donald Trump, the twice-impeached squatter, is also a twice-acquitted squatter, even though he should have been found guilty both times, but, he lives in a palace on the sea, supported by unconstitutional emoluments from foreign governments, unethical payments from the U.S. Treasury to his businesses, and gullible donations from the suckers that he screwed over. Almost 500,000 are dead from the plague he promised would go away by itself, but even as he received the benefit of miracle treatments available only to the favored few. But justice failed, and democratic self-preservation is working, but Trump lost the squad and sea, and that loss held despite all his attacks on the vote and the counting of the vote. His party split against him on this second round of impeachable offenses, but he has lost his immunity to civil suit and his impunity against federal indictment, and the world is crashing down upon his head. The impeachment did not prevail, but Trump still lost is a good thing, and as the power of that loss reverberates, so should the honors to the heroes of the day. The brilliant and eloquent House managers led by Representative Jamie Raskin and the 8 senators who wrote their own profiles encourage